We don't get a lot of rain here. It's you can see we're in the desert. So I got anywhere from rocks to really good dark soil. And I got a little bit of sand too. I cover everything up here.
We have clay alluvial soils. They get real soft and it slow drying out. We need as much flotation as we can get. In the spring, we have a small window to get planted in.
The soil that we farm is pretty much black, dark soil for the most part is generally what's across our farm, so it can be real mucky and stuff.
In the Red River Valley here, we have a variety of soil types in a short planting window, short harvest window. We need equipment that can get in and tackle any condition in a hurry. And the Magnum RowTrac really fit that.
We're mostly sandy soil, real sandy soil. And traction in a tractor is what we're always trying to get. And so in our conditions, this RowTrac tractor is appealing to us because we need something that's going to be able to get good traction and be more efficient with your horsepower. And traction's where it's at.
If you think about it, and if you're familiar with the quad tracks, I mean, you basically know what it can pull because it's got all that rubber on the ground and positive traction.
We had it on a baler, and when we was in the hay fields, it was awesome.
We hooked it onto an 870 ripper, 9 shank. We had it set at 8.5 inches in the ground, pulled it 7 miles an hour with 3% slip. I didn't believe that it would pull it, and when I first pulled it in the field, it had 11% slip, and I realized I hadn't put the front wheel assist in. I kicked that in, and it just took off.
Well, the first big difference between just a 2-track tractor versus the RowTrac is when you're turning around at the end of the field, the 2-track leaves big old canals basically in the roads. It leaves big divots. With the RowTrac you could turn it and it would leave less of an imprint than even a wheeled tractor would when you turned it.
We rented a 8400T, which was an old T tractor. We rented it 2 years in the spring to get our spring work done. The downside is you hit a rock and you're going to break your teeth out. It's rougher than heck.
I've had the tractor full tracks, as I've said, and they're rough. They shake everything apart. I was surprised, and my operator was surprised, my son was surprised at how smooth this tractor rode.
If you get a 2-track on a road or something, you can feel every pebble. And it'll jerk your guts out if you hit the wrong bumps. But this is a whole different deal.
The biggest problem we had with our twin track was when we get into a heavy pull situation, the nose would come up and would jump from left to right, and it would be a rough ride. It got to the point where I couldn't get our employees to drive it anymore.
You know, potato diggers are heavy and they're getting wider, and we need traction with a narrow footprint. And so this is a real good piece of equipment that can be a real advantage to someone in the sand that needs a narrow footprint but still get optimum use of their traction.
In the Red River Valley here, most of the crops are planted in 22-inch rows, the sugar beets and the edible beans and even the corn now. So in our application we had a 380 RowTrac at 88-inch spacing with 16-inch tracks.
The advantages to the RowTrac is the way they have them set up is to be spread out. For the 144 spread, it would do all the workhorse stuff. With having to do our tire tractors, we're always dueling, undueling, spreading. With this, it's just there, run it wide the whole time. You don't have the expense of always changing things.
So when we're harvesting our potatoes, we treat them like you'll see advertising, we treat them like babies. And so having a CVT helps us keep our RPMs the same, and we can keep our speed to manage that dirt all the way to the truck. And so it's a vital part of our operation.
We pulled our beet lifter with the Magnum RowTrac. It's the first time we've had a CVT on our beet lifters. My guys working for us, they just loved it on there.
Just about all the applications that we use a tractor for, the CVT gives you extra benefit to everything. Being more efficient, easier on equipment, easier on the crops.
As soon as our weather cooperates, we need to push it a little bit, get in and get our crop planted as soon as possible because of our short window, our short growing season.
Usually in our soils in March, we have about 4.5 days of weather that we can get in the field when the ground is dry enough to work. Some years we don't get that much, some years we get a little more.
It opens that window. And you know, for instance, this tractor I could probably plant 3 days before I could put a tar tractor in the field to plant corn. Well, I mean, that's another 1,000 acres of corn planted in a timely manner that's going to catch the pollination and the rainfall at the right time for us.
At first glance of it, it looks very interesting. It looks like a dream, but after operating it and being around it, it works. It takes two good ideas and combines into one. So you get the best of both worlds.
The Magnum RowTrac is probably the most versatile tractor I've seen around. It's a tractor that we can use for so many different applications. The size of our farm, we're short of high horsepower tractors in the spring for major tillage. We'd probably use it on a cultivator for seed prep, and then as the season moved on, we'd rotate it into row crop. So it would be a tractor that we could use year round.